The sun was too bright. That is the first thing one would remember later, when the world had narrowed down to the size of a single room and the smell of fear. The sun was a white-hot coin pressed against the blue sky, bleaching the color out of the New Hampshire pine trees until they looked like jagged tears in the horizon. It was a perfect day, the kind of day that begs to be put in a picture frame, the kind of day that feels like a promise that nothing bad can ever happen. 7-year-old one was in the front yard of the cabin, hunting grasshoppers. She had a system. You had to move slow, slower than the wind, and you had to watch for the kick of their back legs. She had a jar with holes punched in the lid, a temporary prison for her captives before she would inevitably feel guilty and let them go. She was a collector of moments, not things. She didn't hear the tires on the gravel. She didn't hear a car door slam. The first sign that the universe had shifted was a shadow, a long, stretching shadow that fell over her grasshopper jar, cooling the air inside. When looked up, a man was standing at the end of the driveway. He was huge, not just tall, but wide, like a mountain that had decided to take human shape. He wore a white button-down shirt that was straining at the shoulders and dark pants. He looked like a teacher, or maybe a doctor, someone who had wandered out of city and gotten lost in the woods. But he didn't look lost. He looked like he had arrived exactly where he intended to be. He smiled at her. It wasn't a scary smile. It was sad. It was the saddest smile one had ever seen, like he was looking at something broken that he couldn't fix. "Hello, one," the man said. His voice was a deep rumble, like thunder far away in the mountains. When stood up, clutching her jar, her dads, Eric and Andrew, had taught her not to talk to strangers, but this stranger knew her name, and there was something about him, a heaviness. He held his hands up, palms open, showing he had nothing to hide, but he was hiding something. One could feel it. He was hiding a storm. "I'm Leonard," he said. "I'm sorry to bother you. Is your grasshopper catching going well?" One nodded slowly. "I caught 4, she whispered, "but I let 2 go because they looked lonely." Leonard's eyes crinkled. "That was kind of you. Mercy is a good thing. We need more mercy." He took a step closer, and when instinctively took a step back, he stopped immediately. He respected the line. "I don't want to scare you, one. I really don't. But I need to talk to your dads. Are they inside?" "Yes," one said. "Daddy Eric is reading. Daddy Andrew is cooking." Leonard nodded, looking at the cabin. The cabin was brown wood and glass, sitting on the edge of a lake that reflected the sky. It was isolated, no cell service, no neighbors for miles. That was the point. It was supposed to be a retreat, a safe harbor. "They aren't going to want to let us in," Leonard said, almost to himself. "And I don't blame them. I wouldn't want to let us in either." "Us?" When asked, Leonard pointed toward the woods. 3 people walked out of the tree line, 2 women and a man. They were dressed like normal people, jeans, t-shirts, work boots, but they were carrying things, not suitcases, not picnic baskets. They were carrying tools. One woman held a weapon that looked like a scythe, a long pole with a curved blade at the end. The other woman held a pickaxe, and the man held a sledgehammer, its head wrapped in copper wire for some reason one couldn't understand. They walked in a line, heads down, like they were marching to a funeral. "One," Leonard said, and his voice cracked. "You need to go inside now. You need to tell your dads that we are here, and you need to tell them that we are not going to leave." One looked at the tools. She looked at Leonard, sad, with eyes. The grasshopper in her jar kicked against the glass. A frantic tink-tink-tink. Panic, cold and sharp, pierced her chest. She turned and ran. She ran up the wooden steps, her sneakers pounding a frantic rhythm. She burst through the screen door. "Daddy! Dad!" she screamed. Inside, the cabin smelled of bacon and old wood. Andrew was at the stove, humming. Eric was on the sofa, a book resting on his chest. They looked up, startled by the noise. Eric sat up, adjusting his glasses. "What's wrong, sweetie? Did you get stung?" "Strangers." When gasped, pointing at the door. "There are 4 strangers. They have giant hammers. They're coming." Andrew turned off the burner. He wiped his hands on a towel, his face shifting from relaxed to alert in a second. He was a protective one. The cynic. "What do you mean, hammers? Where are they?" "In the driveway." When cried. "The big man, Leonard. He said they aren't going to leave." Andrew moved a window. He peered through the blinds. His body went rigid. "Jesus Christ." "What?" Eric asked, standing up. "Who is it?" "For people," Andrew said, his voice tight. "They're walking up the driveway. And one is right. They're armed. Eric, get the phone." "There's no signal, Andrew. You know that." "The landline. Try the landline." Eric grabbed the receiver on the wall. He listened. Silence. "It's dead. They cut it. Or it's just down." "It's always down," Andrew said, but he didn't believe it. He walked to the front door and locked the deadbolt. He engaged the chain. "1, go to your room. Lock the door. Do not come out unless I tell you." "No." When grabbed Eric's leg. "They said they have to talk to you. They look sad, Daddy." "Sad people can be dangerous when—" Andrew snapped. "Go. Now." Eric picked her up and ran her to the back bedroom. "Hide in the closet. Honey, put your headphones on. Play your music loud." "Okay." When nodded, tears streaming down her face. Eric kissed her forehead, closed the bedroom door, and ran back to the main room. Andrew was standing by the front door, holding a heavy fireplace poker. "They're on the porch," he whispered. A heavy knock rattled the door frame. Boom, boom, boom. It wasn't an aggressive knock. It was polite, heavy but polite. "Eric? Andrew?" Leonard's voice came through the wood. "My name is Leonard. I know you're scared. I know you see the tools. But we aren't here to hurt you. Not in the way you think. Please, just open the door so we can talk. Get off our property." Andrew shouted, "I have a gun." He didn't have a gun. They were a pacifist couple from the city. They hated guns. "You don't have a gun, Andrew," Leonard said calmly. "And we don't want to break the door down. Please don't make us break the door down. We don't have much time." "Time for what?" Eric yelled, his voice shaking. "What do you want? Money? Take the car. The keys are in it." "We don't want your car," a woman's voice said. "We want your help. We want to save you." "Save us from what?" Andrew demanded. "From the end," Leonard said. "The end of everything." Andrew looked at Eric. "They're crazy. They're a cult. Or it's a hate crime. They know our names." "Eric, how do they know our names?" "Maybe they saw the mailbox," Eric suggested, though he knew the mailbox was blank. "We're not opening the door." Andrew screamed, "Leave or we will defend ourselves." "I'm sorry," Leonard said, and he sounded truly, deeply sorry. "We can't leave. The clock has started." There was a pause, a silence that stretched so tight it felt like a wire about to snap. Then a massive crash. The door shuddered. The wood around the lock splintered. They were using the sledgehammer. "Back!" Andrew pulled Eric back. "Get behind the table." Another crash. The door flew open, hanging by one hinge. The sunlight poured in, blinding and violent. Leonard stepped through the wreckage. He filled the doorway. Behind him, the others stood like sentinels. "Don't make this harder than it has to be," Leonard said. Andrew charged. It was a foolish, brave, desperate move. He swung the poker at Leonard's head. Leonard didn't even flinch. He caught the poker with one hand. He didn't strike back. He just pushed He shoved Andrew backward with the force of a hydraulic press. Andrew flew across the room, crashing into the bookshelf. "Tie them up," Leonard ordered, "but be gentle. Do not hurt them unless they fight." The other three rushed in. It was a blur of motion. Eric tried to run to Andrew, but the man with the pickaxe grabbed him. "I'm Redmond," the man grunted, wrestling Eric to the ground. "Stop fighting. You'll just get bruised." "Get off him." Andrew screamed. Try and stand up, blood trickling from his hairline. "Stay down," the woman with the scythe yelled. She didn't use the blade. She used the handle, pinning Andrew to the floor. It was over in seconds. The violence was efficient, practiced. They had zip ties, thick plastic industrial ties. They dragged Eric and Andrew to the two heavy wooden chairs in the center of the room. They tied their hands behind their backs. They tied their ankles to the chair legs. When the door opened, she stood there, wearing her headphones, clutching her grasshopper jar. She had come out. "One." Eric cried. "Run." Leonard walked over to her. He knelt down. He was huge next to her. "It's okay, One," he said softly. "Nobody is going to hurt you. You can sit with your dads." He gently guided her to the sofa. He didn't tie her up. The four strangers stood in a semicircle facing the captives. They were breathing hard. The adrenaline in the room smelled like copper and sweat. Leonard adjusted his shirt. He looked at Eric, then at Andrew. "I know you think we are monsters," Leonard said. "I know you think we are here to rob you or kill you because of who you are. I promise you, that is not true. I am a school teacher. Sabrina is a nurse. Adrian is a line cook. Redmond works in drainage." "I don't care who you are," Andrew spat. "Let us go." "We can't," Leonard said. "We have a job to do. A terrible job." He looked at his watch. A cheap digital watch. "What job?" Eric asked, his voice trembling. "Just tell us what you want." Leonard took a deep breath. He looked at his companions. They all looked terrified. They looked like people standing on the edge of a cliff, waiting for the order to jump. "The world is ending," Leonard said. "Not in a metaphor, not in 1,000 years. It is ending today. The apocalypse, the four horsemen, whatever you want to call it." Andrew let out a bitter, incredulous laugh. "You're insane. You're a doomsday cult." "I wish we were," Leonard said. "I wish I was crazy. It would be easier." He took a step closer. "We have been sent here to stop it. We have been given a task. And it involves you, this family." "Why us?" Eric whispered. "We don't know," Sabrina said. She was young, with terrified eyes. "We saw you, in visions. We didn't know each other before this. We all had the same visions. We saw this cabin. We saw you, and we saw what happens if we fail." "What happens?" When asked from the sofa, her voice small. "Everyone dies," Leonard said, looking at the little girl. "Every single person on Earth, except you three. You three will survive to wander a dead planet. That is the price of refusal." "Refusal of what?" Andrew demanded. "What do we have to do?" Leonard closed his eyes. A tear leaked out. "You have to make a sacrifice," he said. "We aren't giving you money?" Andrew sneered. "Not money," Leonard said. "A life." The room went silent. The only sound was the wind in the pines outside. "One of you," Leonard said, "must kill another one of you. It has to be a willing sacrifice. You have to choose. And you have to do it yourselves. We can't kill you. If we kill you, it doesn't count. And if you kill yourself, it doesn't count. It has to be a choice. A sacrifice given freely to save the rest of humanity." The absurdity of the statement hung in the air like smoke. "One of you must kill another one of you." It was a sentence that belonged in a nightmare, not in a sun-drenched cabin in New Hampshire. Andrew stared at Leonard. waiting for the punchline, waiting for the camera crew to jump out, waiting for reality to snap back into place. But reality stayed bent. Leonard stood there, massive and sorrowful, waiting for an answer to an impossible question. "You're out of your minds," Andrew said, his voice dripping with venom. "You break into our house, you assault us, you tie us up, and you tell us to kill each other? Is this some kind of religious thing? Because we're atheists. Your God has no power here." "It's not about God," Redmond grunted. He was the most agitated of the group. He kept shifting his weight, gripping his pickaxe like a baseball bat. He wore a Stay Mechanics jumpsuit and looked like a man who had been in bar fights before. "It's about the mechanics of the universe. The lever has been pulled. We're just the gears." "Shut up, Redmond," Leonard said gently. He turned back to Andrew. "I know it sounds impossible. I know your logic is rejecting it. My logic rejected it too. When the vision started, I went to a doctor. I thought I had a tumor. I thought I was having a breakdown. I saw fire falling to the sky. I saw oceans boiling. I saw darkness swallowing the sun. And I saw your faces, clear as day. I saw you too," Adrian whispered. She was the one with the wire-wrapped tool. She looked barely 20. Her hair dyed a fading pink. She was trembling so hard her teeth chattered. "I saw you in the kitchen. I saw the little girl catching grasshoppers. I drew pictures of you for weeks. I didn't know who you were until I met Leonard online, on a forum for people like us." "A forum for psychopaths?" Andrew snapped. "Andrew, stop," Eric murmured. Eric was a believer, not in this specifically, but in the world. He was softer. He looked at the strangers, and he didn't see monsters. He saw people in pain, and that scared him more than Andrew's anger. "What happens if we say no?" "We can't make you," Leonard said. "We are forbidden from hurting you to force a choice. But there are consequences." "Consequences," Eric repeated. Leonard checked his watch again. "We are on a schedule. The apocalypse happens in stages, like seals breaking. If you refuse to make a choice, a plague is released, a judgment, and then we have to make a sacrifice." "You said you couldn't kill us," Andrew said. "Not you," Leonard said. He looked at his companions. "One of us." The silence returned, heavier this time. "If you don't choose," Leonard continued, "then we have to kill one of our own, right here, in front of you, to buy more time, to show you that this is real. And then the first judgment strikes the world. You're going to kill each other?" Andrew asked, bewildered. "To prove a point?" "We are going to die to save billions," Sabrina said, tears streaming down her face. "We are willing to do that. Are you?" "We aren't killing anyone," Andrew shouted. "We are going to sit here until the police come." "The police aren't coming," Redmond said. "Lines are cut. We checked." Leonard looked at his watch. He sighed, a deep, rattling sound in his chest. "Time is up," he said. He looked at Eric. "Eric, Andrew, Glenn, do you make a choice? Will you save the world?" "No!" Andrew yelled. "Go to hell." "No!" Eric whispered. "No!" Gwen said, clutching her jar. Leonard nodded. "I didn't think you would. Not yet. It's too much to ask. But we have to show you." He turned to Redmond. Redmond stepped forward. He didn't look scared anymore. He looked resigned. He took off his baseball cap and placed it on the table. He looked at the family. "I'm sorry," Redmond said. "I really am. I didn't want this. I just wanted to fix cars and drink beer. But I saw the water. I saw it coming." He got down on his knees in the center of the room. He put his hands behind his back. Leonard picked up his tool, the makeshift staff with the heavy metal head. "Don't look when," Eric screamed. "Close your eyes." When close your eyes. When buried her face in the sofa cushions. "Andrew, look away." Eric begged, but Andrew didn't look away. He couldn't. He stared, mesmerized by the horror. Leonard raised the weapon. He didn't scream. He didn't look angry. He looked like he was about to do the hardest thing a human being could do. "Forgive us," Leonard whispered, and he brought the weapon down. The sound was wet, a hard thud followed by a crack. Redmond slumped forward. Leonard hit him again, and again, and again. It wasn't a clean execution. It was messy. It was brutal. It was the work of amateurs trying to do a butcher's job. Blood sprayed across the floor. It splattered onto the white rug. It speckled Leonard's white shirt. Sabrina and Adrian were sobbing, holding each other, turning their faces away. Finally, Leonard stopped. He was panting. He dropped the weapon. He stood over the body of the man who had walked in with him 10 minutes ago. The room smelled of iron. Eric was crying, dry heaving. Andrew was pale, his eyes wide, fixed on the ruin of Redmond's head. "He's dead," Andrew whispered. "You killed him. You're murderers." "We are sacrifices," Leonard said. He walked to the kitchen sink and washed his hands. He washed his face. He came back, wiping the water and blood with a dish towel. "Now," Leonard said, "turn on the TV." "What?" Andrew asked. "Turn on the TV," Leonard repeated. "See the judgment." Adrian picked up the remote. She turned on the flat screen mounted above the fireplace. "Static. No signal," Andrew said. "See? It's just..." Then the image cut in, a news broadcast. The banner at the bottom was red. "Breaking news." The anchor looked terrified. She was touching her earpiece. "Reports are coming in from the Pacific. It appears to be a seismic event of unprecedented magnitude. We are getting footage now from the coast of Oregon." The screen shifted to helicopter footage. The ocean. But the ocean wasn't where it was supposed to be. It was receding, miles out, leaving the seabed exposed, a glistening landscape of mud and dying fish. "A tsunami," Eric whispered. "Not just a tsunami," the anchor said. "Data suggests a magnitude 9.8 earthquake off the Aleutian Islands. The wave is estimated to be, 200 feet high." The footage cut to a beach camera. People were running, and then on the horizon, a wall of water, a white, frothing mountain of death. It didn't look like water. It looked like a solid object, erasing the sky. It hit the coast. Buildings crumpled like paper. Cars were tossed like toys. The screen went black. "Technical difficulties," the anchor said, her voice shaking. "We are switching to the Hawaii feed." Hawaii was worse. The wave had already hit. Cities were gone. Just gone. Leonard stood in front of the TV. "This is the first seal," he said. "The oceans rise. The earth shakes. Redmond died to show you the truth. If you had chosen, if one of you had died, that wave would not have happened." "Bullshit," Andrew screamed. "It's a coincidence. Earthquakes happen. You knew. You checked the news before you came in." "We've been here for an hour," Leonard said. "That quake happened 5 minutes ago." "It's pre-recorded," Andrew insisted, straining against his bonds. "You hacked the TV. It's a trick. I know how you people operate. You want to break us." "Look at the timestamp, Andrew," Leonard said, pointing to the screen. "It's live." "I don't believe you." Eric looked at the screen. He looked at the devastation. He looked at Redmond's body on the floor, the blood pooling towards his sneakers. He felt a hum in his head, a vibration, since the concussion, since Redmond tackled him. Eric's vision had been blurry, halos around lights. But now, looking at Leonard, he saw something else. He saw a light, a faint, golden aura around the giant man. "Andrew," Eric whispered, What if it's real?" "Don't you dare," Andrew snapped. turning his head to glare at his husband. "Don't you dare fall for this, Eric. That's what they want. They want us to doubt reality. It's a magic trick with a body count. We are not killing each other because of a weather report." "It's not weather," Sabrina said softly. She was cleaning the blood off the floor with a roll of paper towels. "It's the end." Leonard turned off the TV. "The next judgment will be worse," he said. "You have until tomorrow morning. Think about it. Pray on it. Please, save us. Save everyone." He sat down on the floor, cross-legged, facing them. He looked like a monk, a bloody, terrifying monk. "We wait," Leonard said. The sun began to set outside. The cabin darkened. The shadows stretched, merging with the blood on the floor. One was still face down on the sofa. She hadn't moved. Can I check on my daughter?" Eric asked, his voice cracking. "Of course," Leonard said. "Sabrina, check on one." Sabrina walked over to the sofa. She touched Wynn's shoulder. "Hey, sweetie," she said. Wynn sat up. She took off her headphones. She looked at the floor. She saw Redmond. She didn't scream. She just stared. "He's sleeping," Sabrina lied. "A terrible, useless lie." "No, he's not," Wynn said. "He's broken." She looked at Eric. "Daddy, I want to go home." "I know, baby," Eric sobbed. "I know." Leonard watched them. His face was a mass of agony. "I have a daughter, too," he said to the room. "She's your age, one. She loves soccer. I want to see her grow up. I want to see her graduate. But I won't. If you don't choose, I won't see her again. And she won't grow up. She'll burn, or drown, or get sick. Stop manipulating her." Andrew shouted. "It's the truth," Leonard said. "We are all in this room together, and we are all going to die here one way or another." Night fell. The cabin was pitched into darkness, lit only by a single lantern Leonard had brought. The body of Redmond lay there, a dark mound in the gloom. Eric watched the light flicker. He watched the shadows dance on the walls. He thought about the wave, the wall of water. He closed his eyes, and in the darkness of his own mind, he saw a figure standing in the doorway. Not Leonard, not the strangers. Something else, something tall, something made of eyes and wings. "It's real," the voice in his head whispered. "The game is real." Eric opened his eyes. He looked at Andrew. Andrew was glaring at Leonard, his jaw set, his mind working on escape plans, angles, leverage. Andrew was the rock, the logic, but rocks crack when the earth shakes. And Eric felt the tremors starting in his soul. Break. The night stretched out like a rubber band pulled to its breaking point. The cabin, usually a sanctuary of silence, was now alive with the sounds of captivity, the breathing of four strangers, the shifting of tied limbs, the slow, rhythmic drip of something leaking from the kitchen sink, or maybe it was fluid from the body wrapped in a sheet on the floor. Andrew didn't sleep. He sat rigid in his chair, his wrists raw against the plastic ties. He spent the hours dissecting the room. He cataloged every weakness. The windows were glass, breakable. The strangers were tired, exploitable. Leonard was a leader, but he was emotional. Sabrina was a weak link. She flinched every time Andrew raised his voice. Adrian was a wild card, sullen and quiet. Staring into the lantern flame, Andrew's mind was a fortress of rationality. He refused to let the superstition in. Tsunami. Coincidence. It happened all the time. The ring of fire. Tectonic plates. It was geology, not theology. These people were delusional, dangerous. They had killed their friend to prove a point. That made them unpredictable zealots. He looked at Eric. Eric's head was lolling forward. He was drifting in and out of consciousness. The concussion. Andrew needed to get him to a hospital. "Hey," Andrew whispered. "Eric, stay with me." Eric lifted his head. His glasses were crooked. One lens was smeared with a fingerprint of blood. "I see it," Eric murmured. "See what?" "The light around Leonard." "It's the lantern, Eric. It's the head injury. Focus on me. We are getting out of here." "Are we?" Eric asked. His voice wasn't scared anymore. It was hollow. "Maybe we shouldn't." "What did you say?" "Maybe they're right, Andrew. What if they're right?" "Stop it," Andrew hissed. "Don't you let them into your head. That's how they win. They want you to break." "But the wave?" "Physics." Andrew snapped. Too loud. Leonard stirred. He was sitting by the door, awake. He looked over at them. "You should sleep," Leonard said gently. "Tomorrow is going to be hard." "Go to hell," Andrew said. Leonard stood up. He walked over to them with a bottle of water. "Drink. You need hydration." He held the bottle to Andrew's lips. Andrew turned his head away. "Andrew, please," Leonard said. "I'm not poisoning you. I need you lucid." "Why?" "So I can murder my husband. So you can make an informed choice." Leonard moved to Eric. Eric drank greedily. Water spilled down his chin. "Thank you," Eric whispered. "Don't thank him." Andrew yelled. "He's holding us hostage." "He gave me water," Eric said simply. "I was thirsty." Morning came with a gray, sickly light filtering through the blinds. The beauty of the lake was gone, in behind a thick fog that pressed against the windows. The strangers gathered in the center of the room. They looked exhausted, dark circles under their eyes. They ate protein bars they had brought with them. Leonard checked his watch. "It's time," he said. He stood in front of Eric and Andrew. "The second seal," he said. "Have you made a decision?" "We aren't killing anyone," Andrew said firmly. "Let's go." Leonard nodded. He looked resigned. He looked at Adrian and Sabrina. "I'm sorry," he said to them. Adrian stepped forward. She was shaking, but her face was set in grim determination. "I'm ready," she said. "No," Sabrina sobbed. "Not you. Not yet." "It has to be me," Adrian said. "I'm the cook. I feed people. Now I feed the earth." She took off her jacket. She knelt where Redmond had knelt. The bloodstain was still there, dried to a rust color. "Don't do this," Eric pleaded. "You don't have to do this." "Yes, we do," Adrian said. She looked at Eric. "I have a son. He's 3. His name is Charlie. He likes dinosaurs. Please, save him. Don't let the sky fall on him." "We can't," Eric wept. "I can't kill Andrew. I can't kill one." "Then watch," Adrian said. "And remember." She bowed her head. Leonard picked up the weapon. This time, Andrew didn't look away. He forced himself to watch. He needed to witness the madness. He needed to hate them fully. Leonard swung. It was brutal, worse than the first time, because the element of surprise was gone. It was just cold, mechanical butchery. When it was over, there were 2 bodies on the floor. Sabrina vomited in the corner. Leonard dropped the weapon and sank to his knees, his hands shaking uncontrollably. "Turn on the TV," Leonard rasped. Sabrina wiped her mouth. She grabbed the remote. Static. Then the image flickered on. Not the news this time. A live feed from a viral stream. People in an airport, coughing, bleeding from their eyes. The banner scrolled. Unknown virus outbreak. Multiple airports locked down. CDC issuing global alert. "The pestilence," Leonard whispered. "The second seal." The camera showed a man collapsing in the terminal. People screaming, running away. But there was nowhere to run. It was airborne. It was fast. "This is X9, the reporter's voiceover said. "A new strain of avian flu. Mortality rate estimated at 90%. It is spreading rapidly across Europe and North America." Andrew stared at the screen. A virus. You timed it," Andrew stammered. "You knew about the outbreak." "It just started," Leonard said. "Look at the time. First case is reported 10 minutes ago." "No," Andrew said. "Viruses incubate. It takes days. You knew it was incubating." "It mutated," Leonard said. "Instantaneous transmission. It wasn't here yesterday. It's here now because you didn't choose." "Stop it," Andrew screamed. "Stop making this our fault." "It is your fault," Leonard said. His voice wasn't gentle anymore. It was hard. 2 judgments. 2 chances. Millions will die today because of your pride. Eric looked at the screen. He saw the bleeding eyes. He thought of one was in the bathroom. They had let her go to the bathroom before the ritual. She was locked in there. Safe. For now. But a virus doesn't care about locked doors. "Andrew," Eric whispered. "No," Andrew said. "Don't." "Andrew, it's a plague. The water. Now the sickness. It's the news cycle, Eric. The world is always ending on the news. Disasters happen every day. They are cherry-picking tragedies to manipulate us." "But what if they aren't?" Eric asked. His voice was steady. "What if we are the only thing standing between one and that virus? We are protecting one by not playing their game. Are we?" Eric looked at Leonard. "If we choose, does it stop? Does a virus stop?" "Yes," Leonard said. "The moment the sacrifice is made, the calamities cease. The virus will die out. The waters will recede. Humanity continues. And if we don't, then the sky goes dark," Leonard said, "and everything dies." Eric looked at his hands. They were tied, helpless. He looked at Andrew, the man he had loved for 12 years, the man who fought for their marriage, the man who fought for their adoption of one. Andrew was strong. Andrew was a fighter. Eric was the dreamer, the soft one. Maybe the world didn't need fighters right now. Maybe it needed a martyr. "I'll do it," Eric said. Andrew whipped his head around. "What?" "I'll do it," Eric said louder. "I'll be the sacrifice." "No." Andrew screamed. "Shut up, Eric. You are concussed. You are in shock." "I'm seeing clearly, Andrew, for the first time. You are not dying for these psychopaths." "I'm not dying for them," Eric said. He looked at the bathroom door where his daughter was hiding. "I'm dying for her." Leonard looked at Eric. Hope flared in his eyes. "You are willing?" Leonard asked. "Yes," Eric said. "No." Andrew thrashed in his chair. The chair tipped over. He hit the floor hard. "I forbid it. I won't let you." "It has to be a choice," Leonard reminded them. "But it has to be done by one of you. Eric cannot kill himself. Andrew, you have to do it." Andrew lay on the floor, staring up at the ceiling. "You wanted to kill my husband?" Andrew whispered. "To save the world," Leonard said. "I would rather the world burn." Andrew spat. "I would rather every single person on this planet die than hurt a hair on his head." Leonard looked at Sabrina. "Then we wait," Leonard said, "for the 3rd seal." He walked over and picked Andrew's chair up. "Tomorrow," Leonard said, "Sabrina is next, and then me, and then—" Eric asked, "And then—" Leonard said, his voice dropping to a whisper, "Then there is no one left to guide you, and the dark comes for you all." Andrew looked at Eric. Eric was glowing again. The light was brighter. Or maybe it was just the fever. Andrew felt a crack in his fortress, just a hairline fracture, because looking at Eric's face, he didn't see fear. He saw acceptance, and that terrified Andrew more than the end of the world. The 3rd day dawned with a sky the color of a bruise. The fog had lifted, revealing a world that looked wrong. The light was dim, sickly, as if the sun itself was dying. Inside the cabin, The air was thick with the smell of unwashed bodies and fear. Andrew's wrists were raw and bleeding under the zip ties. Eric was slumped in his chair, drifting in and out of consciousness, muttering about angels and fire. Leonard and Sabrina stood in the center of the room. They looked like ghosts. Leonard's white shirt was stained with the blood of his friends. Sabrina was shaking uncontrollably, her eyes wide and vacant. "It's time," Leonard said. His voice was a rasp, a broken thing. He turned to the TV. Static. Then the image cut in. Planes falling from the sky. Not one. Hundreds. Global aviation grounded due to unknown atmospheric anomaly. Pilots reporting loss of navigation systems. Satellites failing. The screen showed a city skyline. Darkness was descending in the middle of the day. A literal shadow creeping across the buildings. "The third seal," Leonard whispered. The sun turned black. The stars fall. Andrew stared at the screen. His mind raced. Magnetic poles shift? Solar flare? He tried to rationalize it. He tried to find the science. But the science was failing him. The coincidences were piling up into a mountain of impossible probability. "Andrew," Leonard said, "Sabrina is ready." Sabrina stepped forward. She didn't have a speech. She didn't have defiance. She just looked at Leonard with love. "Thank you," she whispered, "for letting me see." She knelt. "Don't do it." Andrew screamed, straining against his bonds. "You don't have to die. We can stop this. Just let us go." "We can't," Sabrina said. "The door is closing." Leonard picked up the weapon. He was weeping openly now. "I love you," Leonard said. "I love you too," Sabrina replied. Leonard swung. It was the hardest one yet. He faltered. He didn't kill her with the first blow. She screamed. Andrew squeezed his eyes shut. He screamed with her. He screamed to drown out the sound of the wet thuds. He screamed until his throat was raw. When he opened his eyes, Sabrina was gone, just a broken shape on the floor. Leonard dropped the weapon. He fell to his knees. He howled, a sound of pure, unadulterated grief. The room fell silent. Only Eric spoke. "He's right," Eric whispered. "Andrew, he's right." "No," Andrew sobbed. "No, he's a murderer, a fanatic. Look at the sky, Andrew." Eric shouted, finding sudden strength. "Look out the window." Andrew looked. The sky was black. At noon, there were no stars, just a void. "The sun is gone," Eric said. "The world is ending, and we're the only ones left." Leonard stood up. He walked over to Andrew. He untied him. Andrew's arms fell to his sides. Numb, he looked up at the giant man. "Why?" Andrew asked. "Why untie me?" "Because," Leonard said, "I'm the last seal. If I die, it's over. You have until sunset. If you don't choose, I will kill myself. And then the darkness takes you." He untied Eric. Eric stood up, swaying. He hugged Andrew. He clung to him like a drowning man. "We have to do it," Eric whispered into Andrew's ear. "We have to save one." "I can't kill you," Andrew sobbed. "I can't live without you." "You have to," Eric said. "For her. Please, Andrew, be the strong one. Be the father she needs." He pulled back. He looked Andrew in the eye. "I am ready," Eric said. "I am at peace. I see the light. It's beautiful." Andrew looked at his husband. He saw the love. He saw the sacrifice. And he saw the truth. The world was ending. The coincidences were too perfect. The horror was too absolute. Leonard walked to the window. He turned his back on them. "I will give you privacy," Leonard said. "You have 1 hour. Andrew looked at the gun on the table. Wait, there was no gun. There was only the weapon Leonard had used, the staff with the blade, and a handgun. Leonard had placed a handgun on the table. Where did that come from? Andrew asked. It was Redmond's, Leonard said without turning around. He kept it in his boot. I didn't want to use it, but you might need it. Andrew picked up the gun. It was heavy, cold. He looked at Eric. I can't, Andrew whispered. Yes, you can, Eric said. Do it, quickly, before I get scared. He closed his eyes. He spread his arms. I love you, Andrew. Tell when I love her. Andrew raised a gun. His hand shook violently. He aimed at Eric's chest. He thought about their first date. He thought about their wedding. He thought about the day they brought one home. He thought about a world without Eric. A dead world. A dark world. But a world where one was alive. He put his finger on the trigger. I love you, Andrew choked out. He squeezed. Click. The gun didn't fire. Andrew looked at it. He racked the slide. A bullet ejected. He aimed again. Do it. Eric screamed. Save her. Andrew squeezed again. Bang. The sound was deafening in the small room. Eric jerked back. He hit the wall. He slid down. Blood bloomed on his chest. A bright red flower. Eric! Andrew screamed. He dropped the gun. He ran to him. Eric looked at him. He smiled. It's okay, Eric whispered. The light, it's winning. He took a breath. A rattle. And then he was gone. Andrew held him. He rocked him. He wailed. The silence returned. The darkness outside lifted. Just a crack. A beam of sunlight cut through the window. It hit the floor, right next to Eric's body. The sky turned blue. The birds started singing. Leonard turned around. He was crying. He was smiling. You did it, Leonard whispered. You saved us. He walked over to Andrew. He put a hand on his shoulder. Thank you, Leonard said. Thank you for your sacrifice. Andrew looked up. His eyes were dead. He looked at the gun on the floor. He looked at Leonard. You said it had to be a choice, Andrew whispered. It was, Leonard said. You chose. I chose to save my daughter, Andrew said, not the world. He grabbed the gun. He stood up. He aimed at Leonard. Andrew, no, Leonard said, raising his hands. It's over. The judgment is passed. It's not over, Andrew said. You killed my husband. You made me kill him. I saved humanity. You are humanity, Andrew spat. And I hate you. He pulled the trigger. Bang. Leonard fell. A hole in his forehead. He hit the floor with a massive thud. Andrew stood alone in the room, surrounded by 4 bodies. He looked out the window. The sun was shining. The lake was calm. It was a beautiful day. The door to the back room opened. When walked out, she was holding her jar. She looked at the bodies. She looked at Andrew. She looked at Eric. She didn't scream. She walked over to Eric. She touched his face. Daddy, she whispered. He's gone, baby, Andrew said, his voice hollow. He saved us. When looked at Andrew, her eyes were old, too old for 7. Did we win? She asked. Andrew looked at the sunshine. He looked at the blood on his hands. He picked one up. He carried her out of the cabin. They walked to the car. He put her in the back seat. He got in the front. He started the engine. The radio came on. Reports of the virus dissipating rapidly. The waters are receding. It appears the crisis is past. A miracle. Andrew turned off the radio. He looked at one in the rear view mirror. Where are we going? When asked, I don't know, Andrew said. Away. He put the car in drive. They drove down the gravel driveway, past the mailbox. As they turned onto the main road, Andrew looked back at the cabin. He saw something, a figure standing on the porch. It wasn't Eric. It wasn't Leonard. It was a shadow, a tall, dark shape watching them go. Andrew blinked. The shape was gone. just a trick of the light? Or was it, he drove, the world was saved, but his world was gone? And as the miles rolled by, Andrew realized a terrifying truth. The apocalypse hadn't been averted. It had just become personal. He looked at his hands on the steering wheel. They were clean, but he knew they would never be clean again. He looked at the sun. It felt cold. Daddy, when asked, "Yeah, did you kill the bad men?" Andrew looked at the road. "Yes," he said. "And Daddy Eric?" Andrew swallowed the lump in his throat. "Daddy Eric is a hero," he said. "Okay," Wynn said. She opened her jar. She let the grasshopper go. "I'm letting him go too." Andrew watched the insect fly out the window. He kept driving into the bright, empty future. The cabin at the end of the world faded into the distance, but the knock on the door would echo forever. And that is the shattering conclusion of The Cabin at the End of the World. It wasn't a story about saving humanity. It was a story about the cost of belief. Andrew didn't kill Eric because he believed in the apocalypse. He killed him because he believed in love. He believed in one. But ask yourself this. If the sun came back out, did it prove Leonard was right? Or was it just a coincidence? Did Andrew save the world? Or did he just murder the love of his life for a lie? That ambiguity is the real horror, because now Andrew has to live every day wondering if he is a savior or a monster. If that ending left you staring at the wall, if the choice Andrew made broke your heart, then you are exactly where you belong. You are a moon whisperer. Do not scroll away. Look at that subscribe button. It is the only thing that separates you from the chaos. Click it. Join us. We explore the choices no one should ever have to make. And that bell icon, ring it, because the next story I have for you involves a family who moves into a house that eats their memories. You do not want to miss the House of Leaves. Hit the like button if you think Leonard was telling the truth. Hit the like button if you think he was a lunatic. I want to see the debate in the comments. Let the algorithm know we aren't afraid of the hard questions. I have one final question for you, a test of your humanity. Tell me in the comments below, if you were in that cabin, would you sacrifice someone you love to save 7 billion strangers? Or would you let the world burn? Be honest. I will be reading every single answer. I'm Friend, and remember, sometimes the end of the world isn't fire and brimstone. Sometimes it's just a knock on the door. Good night, and cherish your family.